Uh, I think we're live. Looks like we're live.
Are we live?
We are live!
Do it live!
Yay!
All right. So we're early. Nobody will know we're here and nobody cares.
Yeah, nobody knows to look out for this. Half of the
Yeah.
people that are talking aren't here yet.
Yeah,
That's
no,
great.
that's good. That's good.
I put links for Bradley's things on the screen, so people
That's
can give
awesome.
money for
That's
him.
awesome. He texted me back. That was really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't.
that was-
I just assume that he still needs. I haven't spoken to him. I assume
everybody still needs money.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, installing a well pump, especially because he lives on a mountain, and it's.
I know. I'm with him there. I live on a mountain. They were going to turn off the power because of the winds in California today.
Yeah.
And my wife was like, if they do, we're going down the hill to a hotel. So just telling you.
Holy shit,
This is Brett Zingler live on the scene at the
Wow.
Oakland Hills fire. We've got
Wait,
two
no,
alarm fire.
time out. Wait a
What?
second. Wait a second.
What?
You live on the other side of 13, don't you?
It's over here.
No, it's over in Oak Knoll.
It's
on
it's
Tower
right here,
Hill.
dude.
Where do
It's
you
on
live?
this side of 580,
Dox
right?
yourself. Where do you live?
I live in the Oakland Hills,
Yeah.
above Montclair,
Okay, you're above Montclair.
but south of Montclair, a couple of miles,
Yeah,
like
but I
3
mean,
miles.
Still got the quarry to go through, and it's burning in Oak Knoll.
Yeah.
Okay, it's burning on Oak Knoll.
What you can
But-
see it from my house, so it's
but
not like,
Brett has a. I don't know if you're aware. Brett has a very lovely wife that he needs to protect at all costs.
Got it.
that
Because
too.
if anything
That's
should happen to Lael, This
Listen, with the
world will
wind
burn.
in California and Oakland Hills, it can be at his house in 20 minutes. There's no
If it-
question.
The good thing that happened is they've got it more contained, and they also like the winds have gotten down into the low teens because it was blowing north earlier, and
Yeah.
now it's like low teens and blowing south away from us.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel pretty good.
So okay.
But that was
looking at the
hairball.
news. I was looking at the newscast, and it's basically where I lived.
Oh,
So,
really?
Yeah, that's right where I lived.
Right. So you were right off 580 there?
I was
Oh,
on Oak Knoll. I lived
Okay.
my dad was the CO of Oak Knoll.
Shit.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Uh-huh.
is it cold there yet? Because it was like 60 degrees here the other day.
I wore a double sweater today, but no, it's not cold.
I wore
Cold
a
in the
flannel.
morning.
Yeah.
Cold late at night, cold in the morning, but now it's fucking probably high 70s or something like that.
I really,
78.
I'm sure you guys have noticed, but grunge is coming back, which I really enjoy. Because I woke up when it was cold and I put on a flannel, and I was
Yeah.
like, I'm no longer
Very
an
good.
old dude. Like
Very
I'm
good.
stylish again.
Yeah, there you go.
I just got a couple flannels for I don't even know. Lael just got them for me. And I feel like hip.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to share my screen? Does it let me
I don't-
share my
I
screen?
don't care. Do whatever you want.
Sharing is not turned on. I'm sending a request.
I am allowing.
Share this one. Share. Okay. So a 1700 ghost ship watches ashore in Florida after Hurricane Milton.
Oh,
Killer.
Eerie aftermath of Hurricane Milton, a fully intact 1700 years ghost ship
What?
watched ashore near St. Augustine, Florida.
oh, that was
George,
like it was like the hull or something. No, that's not true.
That can't be.
yeah, it's bogus, but I mean, I thought it was cool. So
I was
it
gonna say because we get like hulls and shit that wash up all.
it was
the
in the
time.
news today. So
That's amazing.
Snopes got right on it and went lol. But I thought,
Oh, so
like-
it's not true.
it's
No.
not true.
That looks like One-Eyed Willie's boat.
That's actually a Disney Pirates of the Caribbean boat.
You're a one-eyed
Oh.
Willie.
I am. All right.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I just thought I'd ask about that. Oh, well, also I hear that the St. Augustine casket has been found.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Oh no. Am I
Brett,
to presume that it hasn't
it has
been
not.
found?
Yeah. Brett, you haven't missed anything in your vacation, by the way.
I check in, as you know, I check in with you guys every month or two just to see what's up. And obviously we had that Fairmont thing kind of come up
What was
recently.
that?
We can't talk about it.
Never
Yeah, I'm
mind.
not allowed
Um,
to talk about it.
But other than that, I don't really. I left, I think, a couple of years ago, probably,
Yeah.
and I haven't really looked back. I just rely on you guys for information.
It's really the best way to do it.
I left for
It's
a while
great.
and then I've come back and now I'm regretting it. So,
See,
Yeah.
I'll be back.
yeah, okay.
I'm sure I'll be back.
One day, occasionally, I wish someone would take over my role, and I could just take a vacation. It would be nice.
There's probably people who would do it, and those people are probably not the people that
no,
want doing
they're not
it.
the people you
Well,
want to do.
yeah,
it.
but for the amount of money you make, you could probably hire 3 or 4 people,
This is true.
you know?
This is true.
And I understand it the other day, a book about The Secret would make millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah, I got a $2 million LLC. I don't know
Boy.
if you guys know that.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I don't know how many times I tried to give away the podcast. Like, just somebody make stuff. Even like Cole. Like Cole was gonna make stuff.
Yeah.
Does Cole not want to do it? I mean,
Uh,
does he not want to take it over?
Well, I think everybody wants to do it until they realize how difficult it is.
It's
That's a lot of work. You have to be
I-
really stupid to do something like
Yeah.
this.
I don't. What kind of lunatic would
Yeah,
do this?
absolutely.
Only a one-eyed Willie would do it.
Yeah.
That's it. It's scary.
What was I gonna say? So yeah, so not much has changed. I hear from you guys from time to time, like little updates on this and that. But man, 2 years and nothing. This is discouraging. Kind of was hoping something would happen.
Well, it's
You guys
what
went
it
to
is.
Cleveland.
You like find
Yeah.
a cast? Yeah, I was kind of hoping we'd find a cast.
I got married. I got
George
a
got married.
I got a piece of a cask
That from Cleveland?
from Cleveland. Yeah, Brian gave me
Awesome.
a piece.
That's
That is
cool.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. You always get all the cool stuff.
I
You
offered,
Yeah.
to put
deserve
that,
it.
I offered to put that back together for him, but he never took me up on it.
It's
Oh, that would have been cool.
yeah. It's a lot of work. I don't think the little couple of cool things are worth it. You know,
Does he? d- uh, how many pieces does he
A
still
lot.
have?
he has a lot.
Okay, so, dude, I'll show you guys something while we're talking about, but because it reminds me of that. But he's missing some pieces, like
Yeah.
just a couple, like one he
Um,
gave away or something.
We just photographically, we reconstructed what he had of the lid, and he had 70% of the lid.
Yeah. Well, no,
He's
he
gotta-
was missing a lot because he didn't have any of the numbers. I think
Yeah.
you're thinking he was missing 70% of the
No, hang on. Let me go grab my pick. Keep talking. Carry on.
Maybe he doesn't want it tainted with glue and stuff or whatever
Yeah,
that
maybe.
you would do.
Well,
Yeah.
it's
I'd be
the-
nervous about even
Well-
leaving it out of my sight.
Yeah, no, that was the key thing. But the actual thought was to, because at that point I had, quote, access to the one that John had, and the thought was to take a casting of that and then carve away everything that he had and put it onto the casting of the existing cast. So it would be the
Cool.
complete cast with gray where it was fake and the real pieces where it wasn't.
Sounds cool for me if I owned it. I mean,
Yeah.
for me as a bystander, but like
would
if I
have done
owned it,
but okay.
yeah.
speaking of Brian, so he called me yesterday,
Okay.
just out of the blue, and he's like, "Hey, I had to make an emergency trip to New Orleans, and I decided to stop at Gallery Hall." And he's like, "I'm going through the thing that you and John were digging," and he's like, "That's really good." He's
Yeah,
like,
well-
I think that's right." He's like, Did you ever compare your piece that you found to my pieces that we and I told him, I was like, we did, and mine was a little lighter than his. He was like, we need to check that again.
This is when we went and dug
Yeah, when all three of us.
in that next to the in that little square or rectangle next to
Yeah,
the Gallagher Hall.
Yeah, and there's a
I-
couple of pieces that were found.
There's
Yeah.
no question in my mind that's the spot. I mean,
It's-
other people come up, but I mean, it's like I've never heard anything even remotely.
That was good.
Yeah, it was
The thing that screwed us was that we couldn't put that what are the numbers in there? By
Yeah, on the clock, you couldn't make sense of the numbers. But that was what Brian said too. He was like 90% of the image isn't used here. And we were trying to figure out like if we're just misinterpreting something or we don't know how John intended it to be used. And
Yeah.
maybe that helps you narrow down. Cause he was like, it's not like Cleveland where Cleveland gives you an exact spot. He's like, you don't have anything. Cleveland and Boston give you an exact spot. Chicago in this one kind of doesn't. So he was like, maybe the image, who knows? But anyway, the funny thing was he just happened to be in New Orleans. And he called Andy to talk to Andy about the spot. And Andy's like, oh, it's my brother-in-law's birthday and he lives in New Orleans and I'm here too. So they both just happened to be in New Orleans. Yeah.
Cool.
Apparently they went to Preservation Hall last night.
Nice.
Yeah.
That place is cool. I think it was closed when we
It
went.
was. Yeah.
Yeah, but we saw the outside. But so basically they're just trying to follow in our footsteps.
Yeah. They're trying to steal our
we're-
glory.
Right. I mean, we're the,
yeah, that was absolutely. I mean, I've never heard anything even remotely as good.
Yeah.
I was pretty convinced. I mean, I was convinced I was a chicken shit because it was like one of my first couple of digs for sure. And I didn't even really, I kind of prodded a little bit and
Yeah.
George does most of the digging.
That was more than John would do. You remember John wouldn't even go out. He was like,
he
"You guys
would
gonna
not
dig?"
leave the hotel room,
I can't get in trouble.
Oh,
which I didn't want to get in trouble either. You know what I mean? So that's why I was like, I'll stand watch.
Kind of assume you were in New Orleans with George, you're going to get arrested.
Not for digging.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with this.
No,
That would
prostitutes.
be the case.
It was prostitutes last time. The time before that, it was drugs.
Yeah. Yeah. I see pictures of them with big bales of pot. So
Yeah, that's me. That's my life, guys.
Yeah, one-eyed Willie washing up on the beach, stealing people's weed,
yeah.
ghost shipping it.
Hey, we got our first question about the secret. Do you think any of the
Wait,
creators...
wait.
Sorry.
People are watching.
This is
Yeah,
live,
people are watching. This is live.
bro.
Okay.
You could have told us.
Sorry.
Where are people watching?
Facebook and YouTube. Someone asked, do you think any of the creators could have a cask buried in the front yard of their house? You should read the rules. Like, there's only 3.
Where on Facebook?
In the group. You're not a member.
How do I get into Facebook?
You have to join, but you'd have to be approved, and I don't think that's going to happen.
All right, look, somebody look out for
A Facebook membership
shit.
request.
Yeah.
Cole's going to be the one to let you in.
Oh God, where is Cole?
I don't know.
He should be here.
He should be here
He's
shortly.
Okay,
He said he was coming.
I was the one that was gonna be.
Oh, he said he just got called into work.
No,
Yeah.
no.
In order to go back and look at your thing, I had to go look at messages.
Okay,
I am at work. So what's his excuse?
His job isn't as lax as your job. Cole's got like a hard job.
all right.
My
I
job's
see.
not lax, but okay, go ahead.
I'm looking for the group.
my
All I
door.
see is lasagna. Somebody said Dick Sember,
I'll invite you.
Who's a dick?
That's
which is
me.
me.
I'll invite you
Okay.
if I can.
Um,
Yeah, there. You don't really need to be. You're in the stream. You don't need to watch it though.
Wait, what?
But if he doesn't watch it, he won't be able to get that cool echo thing going.
That's true.
Yeah, I want the echo, and I also want to see if people ask questions. But I guess I don't know.
Was that the only question?
No, there's more, but I very, very rarely read them because I'm.
I'll keep an eye. I'll keep an eye. People send us questions.
Do we have any other unintentional hints for other cities like we had with the Fairmont clue? I don't think John realized what he was saying when he told Josh Gates that he was right about the lion and closer than he's ever been when he was in Lake Park. That was an unintentional clue. I don't think he meant to.
Okay, unintentional clues that we could
convey that
reveal,
much.
or the
Or
ones that
other
we have to keep
cities like
secret.
the Fairmont.
There's a lot we have to keep secret, though.
Not that much.
I just try to, create more drama or whatever.
Yeah, don't create any drama. Invite accepted. All right, get me in
Nice.
there.
You're getting
Joined. Oh my God, they are in here.
Yeah. Look, we got 17,500 members now.
Fluffing.
How many of those people are alive?
That's it. I'm
Those
out of here.
people are
Somebody
American
said fluffing.
with driver's licenses. I want to know these things.
We have like a 75% activity rate, which means like 75% of our members every week at least look at the group, not just like in their feed. but
That's
they come
actually
to the group.
stunning.
Yeah, it's insane the amount of like activity we have. Because
I would
most groups
say-
is like 1%.
Yeah.
I would say just back to this secrets of the secret thing. Like the one thing that I know that you've told me is like totally behind the scenes, inconsequential to the hunt. It would not, nobody would be able to use it for anything.
What was? I don't know.
Just
I guess
stuff.
I don't want to ask. What? Okay.
Just stuff. But it's behind the scenes drama stuff. You know what I mean? Or like logistical things that. Other than that, I don't know anything that would help anybody besides the Fairmont thing.
Yeah.
Did anybody actually read, the guy who said today, hey, I found St. Augustine, did anybody actually read what he posted or anything like that?
It was behind the Hojo. That little, I don't know exactly where.
Near the senator tree?
Yeah. Yeah. There's like it's somewhere that new people dig quite a bit. There's a, like in between the fence and the hotel, there's an area where you can dig, but once you dig down a foot, you realize there's a bunch of pavement underneath there. When they tore up the road, they just dumped all the pavement in there and buried it.
Oh, yeah.
This is Fountain of Youth.
Yeah.
What are you guys talking about?
Yeah.
Some guy posted that he solved St. Augustine. He's like, it's not at the Fountain of Youth. It's at the hotel across the street.
Can't really I don't know. These days you can't really say solved it unless you got something. I mean, there's nobody can confirm it. Really? I mean, JJP might say, hey, that sounds about right, but I don't. As far as I remember, it's been 2 years.
I don't believe
things have changed.
He knows where they are. I think
I don't think so either.
He knows the towns, maybe. He knows the parks, maybe, or the areas. I don't think he knows where they are.
I mean, I don't think he could make those paintings without knowing the parks, or at least in general, what's important.
Yeah.
But are the parks?
But even in Cleveland, he didn't know exactly where the.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
didn't know
saying.
where it
Like
was, yeah.
he could just be doing for all he knows, maybe he's just painting a city confirmer, like Golden Gate Park, and that's why he thinks it's in Golden Gate Park.
Yeah.
Or whatever, right? But
I mean, there's an example I use all the time, and it came from John. And I could bury a cask in my front yard and tell you I buried a cask in my front yard, and you would never be able to find it. Just because casks are small and my yard's big. So he could know what a park, where it is in a park, or he could know a park. But
Do you ever see that XKCD comic about cracking passwords with a 2-pound crescent wrench?
no,
AMFDM? What?
XKCD cartoon.
ACDC? What? I did not see that. I will say something though on the onset here. George was kind enough to pin a post about Bradley.
Yes.
Bradley is one of our previous podcasters. Did you want to say something?
no, I was just pointing because I put the little donate links
Yeah.
up.
Sign
please-
here.
If you can, you got a couple extra bucks, please help him out. Hurricane
It sucks
Helene.
to have no water on your well.
It's
Trust me,
awful.
It
yeah.
is awful.
I've
mean,
been through that
Have you
and-
have you seen the photos of Asheville and the surrounding areas? Like they're crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's trying to repair his water pump.
Um,
He has given a lot to us over the years, for sure. Still a great friend of ours. And please, if you can, please give to him.
Yeah.
Please help him out. Even a couple of bucks.
everything would help.
Or like everything, all your money. You don't need
Yeah.
it. You know?
Yeah. What are you possibly using
Yeah.
it for?
What are you gonna get? Food? You don't need food.
Here. No, I'm doing this.
What's the East Coast version of the Fairmont? Oh, what is that?
Oh, that's my
Altair
Altair.
8080.
See, I got all the switches, and over here I got all the LEDs.
It's a really old computer from before you
It's
were
the
born,
first
Brett.
computer I got my hands on.
That's it. That's what chips used to look like until Intel got their hands on them,
Yeah.
and AMD.
Cole-
What's the East?
When Matt first posted that in chat once, Cole was like, "George, what does that thing do? Like when it's operational, what did that computer do?" I was like, I don't even
It's
know
like
how
a
to answer
calculator.
that. I think it just does math, right?
Probably.
No, it was actually all right. So I went over to my friend's house in 1979.
Oh God.
And his dad had one of these brand new from the company, and it had an 8-inch floppy disk. And
Is that floppies?
8-inch floppy. Yes.
I thought they were punch cards.
Nope. This one was the first unit is switches, so you had to program it with the switches. Then they came out in '78 with a 8-inch floppy disk. So the guy had that, and the guy showed me the game Adventure, and so we were playing Adventure and Star Trek, and so I was that's right there what hooked me on computers.
All right.
So, but yeah, no, it's a computer. It is a computer. It plays, games. It does whatever. You could get a graphics board with it, believe it or not, and do graphics. And so,
When I was in 5th grade, me and my butt, so they got our first Macintosh, and this is like the Stone Ages, as you guys know. But me and my friend got to be the first to do programming. What is that, DOS or something like that?
on the
DOS
Mac?
on a Mac?
No,
What is it? What was it?
it was Apple.
CMD
Yeah, I mean, it was
equals. Anyway,
Apple. The
I was
Mac. It
reading
was
a comment.
hyper.
I missed the question.
It was HyperStack.
Oh. What was it?
HyperStack.
I was the first HyperStack programmer.
All
You
right.
heard it here
Nice.
first. Yeah,
Okay.
totally.
It's
But I
Brett
was
Wozniak.
complaining. Yes. I was complaining because I'm like, you're reading it in the book and then you're just typing it. I'm like, this is just like copying things. I'm not programming anything. So I gave up. And who wants to be part of the stupid computer industry anyway? Like that went nowhere.
Yeah. You could buy paperback books of computer games that you had to type in. But by the time you typed them in, you learned everything there was about the game. So there was no point in playing it as a game.
Right. You were just making some game that somebody already made.
Somebody else
Castle
did,
Wolfen.
Yeah.
Castle Wolfenstein.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was actually pretty fun. Adventure game. It was kind of like deep, kind of like Dungeons and Dragons a little
It was
bit, but
Doom.
typing things.
It was
Yeah.
Doom. Yeah.
Super awesome.
Mhm.
Sorry, I digress. And I'm going back to this. What is the East Coast version of the Fairmont? So
Meaning the
East
Fairmont
Coast.
clue, or
Yeah, I think that's
a
what she
thing?
meant. And basically what they're looking for is probably, so it's Bella Swansong asked that. If that's
very
not a
nice
fake name,
It's not.
that should be a fake name. Wait a minute. You know what I mean? It's a nice name. Rolls off the tongue. So all right, East Coast. So then if Boston is gone, then what is that? New York, Roanoke,
New York.
and St. Augustine.
Charleston.
Okay, so do we have any Fairmonts?
You
for
mean
the
like
4 of
a
those?
Fairmont clue, or do you mean a building
Yeah.
in the middle of the hunt?
Something that slipped. Something that.
Oh,
What do you got, George?
Uh,
Spill it, buddy.
John vacationed in Charleston once. That's all I got.
Michaels?
No, Palancar.
Oh,
John Michaels vacationed in Charleston once too, but
I'm sure he did.
John Palancar has a photo album full of photos that he took while on vacation in Charleston that he will not let me see.
Oh. Okay.
Bella Swan song.
There you go.
There you go. Who knows? That's why I'm saying, like, even the Fairmont was nothing because he said Fairmount.
Yeah, he said it wrong.
Like, he said it wrong, and then we were looking in the Fairmount district in San Francisco, which is like 4 houses and
He either
hill.
said it wrong or John heard it wrong.
No, because he said it twice. He said it not just to John, and he kept saying Fairmont or Fairmount.
Okay.
So it was one more time that I don't know that we ever talked about it, but anyway, it was.
Yeah.
He said Fairmount.
It wasn't until we solved it at the Fairmont.
Yeah.
That we confirmed that the solution is indeed the Fairmont, and I will hear nothing else. I'm just kidding, guys. I got to live by my own rules, right?
People still send like, will you look at my San Francisco theory? It's not near the Fairmont. And I'm just like, I
get those every week.
Yeah.
Are there any hotels? Does Charleston have any hotels?
I mean, it's got a few. I stayed at one once.
I'm just kidding.
Stayed at a Hyatt. I stayed at a Hilton.
Sheldon Ward would like to ask if JJP had to make any other corrections to the paintings aside from the known Montreal fleur-de-lis and the symbol on the Florida flag. What else might have been covered up or corrected? I think
John didn't
New
correct
York.
those. New York has the addition.
Somebody, right? Sorry,
the church.
Mm-hmm.
But John didn't do any of those.
Well, explain that though. Explain the church.
The church isn't in the painting. It's just.
Oh, it's a
So
blank.
somebody added it
It's a
prior.
blank square, and in post-production, after they took a photo of the painting, they added that so it would be on the press plate
Yeah.
in one
That's it.
color.
Somebody goes, this New York one's too hard. Let's put this. That'll do it.
What the hell's Russian about this painting? Let's add this Russian church.
There's
add this
no, all
onion.
right. I can't narrow it down to a spot, but there is no doubt in my mind that the Gray Giant is at Yankee Stadium, and nobody comes back to that.
I think it's the UN building.
I think you're just too focused on. Yeah, I like the UN building. I think you're too focused on baseball, Matt.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's the whirring sound is the home run siren. So
Okay.
it only happens in summer, and it's a whirring sound.
What does? Oh, the baseball.
When the New York
Baseball is
Yankees
only played
hit
in
a
the
home
summer?
run yes, baseball is a game
Yeah.
of summer. Yes, George.
Yeah,
Okay.
the boys of summer,
Yeah,
known as a summer thing.
it is a summer thing.
There's
It's a summer
spring
sport.
training, but that happens in Florida
doesn't
for the
count.
And
Yankees.
then the World Series is the fall thing. So baseball is
Yep.
a game of summer.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, when the Yankees hit a home run, they would crank in the 80s, right around 1979 to 1985, when the Yankees hit a home run, they would crank up an air raid siren. That's a whirring
That's cool.
sound that you only hear in summer. I'm sorry. Gray Giant is Yankee Stadium, the old Yankee Stadium, which is no longer there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it would also cast a shadow across the Harlem River. And then there's the bridge, Swing Arm Bridge. I'm sorry, it's right there. Somebody go friggin' find it. I have asked so many people to go dig my spot, and nobody does.
Matt's like
Dude.
Matt's like every email I get every day. Here's the answer. You just
Here's
go
the
dig it
answer.
up. You go get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't want
I
the credit.
saw an airline ticket to New York for it was like $45 to New York. And I'm like, ooh, I can go do that. And the flight back was like $250. Nah, my wife would kill me.
Well, dude, that's still nothing.
Yeah,
That's not bad. You got to catch those Spirit deals. You got to go on the off days. You got to
but
go
then-
and then stay
Even
2 days.
even in
and
my
get the
even
time.
in my worst, I would not fly Spirit. So
Oh,
But
dude, I love Spirit.
That's what I was gonna say. But that, you know what that means is you got to fly on Spirit if you buy Spirit tickets.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
like 50
Those
bucks.
seats, dude, those seats are like concrete.
Yeah.
I took Spirit to Vegas, and like I got off the plane and I felt like I was like
Yeah, it's not fun.
sitting on granite.
They have the worst terminals, the most horrible customer
Yeah,
service. The
it's
seats
terrible.
suck. It's
They
not
don't
that
pick up
bad.
the phone.
It's not that bad if you're going to like New York or Milwaukee and it's like a 2-hour flight.
A
But
quick flight is a fine. Yeah.
The time that me, Rachel, and Bradley went to San Francisco, we flew Spirit. And it was like a 6-hour flight, and I'll never do that again.
That's death. And they always run out of shit.
a
Yeah.
whole bunch of people have suddenly discovered the goddess of the forest statues. So they're really talking about looking around there.
Oh, they're just watching EU?
No, but they're. I mean, I've gotten like 3 in the last month. I've gotten 3. Hey, what do you think of this? They all end up at or around the goddess of the forest, and they're like, "Do you think we should dig there?" So I'm always,
Sure.
yeah,
I
sure,
mean, it never hurts to aerate dirt.
yeah.
Rob
It does.
wants-
No, it does hurt. It does hurt after a while. There's a
Yeah.
lot of weight in dirt.
No, it hurts you, but it doesn't hurt the dirt.
No, it doesn't hurt the
Get
dirt.
it some air. It's fine.
Yeah.
Brett, Bella says thank you for liking her name.
It's a great name.
Yeah.
Did she say if it was fake or not?
I don't think it's fake.
It's
That's-
cool. It's like too good to be a real name.
Yeah.
And then Rob was asking, what is the airspeed velocity of an unladen swallow? I only
African
know
or European.
yeah, I only know the one that's laden. And the answer to that is 4. That's all sorry, Rob. European. I'll empty my nose on top of you.
European.
European. Lori says she's going to be there boots on the ground next week. I think, does she mean
San Francisco.
For
I think
Matt?
she live in San
Oh, she's
Francisco.
saying goddess of the forest?
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm
where.
not sure where.
It sucks because they're watching us a couple of seconds after we actually are live. So whenever
Oh.
they make comments, we have to remember
Yeah.
what we were talking about like 10 seconds ago.
He can't answer the question and they
Yeah.
Bella, and I'm just having fun with you. I know your name is not fake.
It might be. It's Facebook, you know. But
I
probably
got an author friend. I don't know her real well, but her she writes Dungeons and Dragons kind of fantasies. Her name is Morgan Hazelwood, and I'm like, that's got to be a fake name. That's got to be but it's just like the perfect name for that kind of author.
That's pretty cool.
Did you know we have a person in the Facebook group who is pretty active, who is like a best-selling smut author? And it's a person you
What?
would never expect.
I did not know this.
It's
What kind
awesome.
of smut?
What
sort of smut?
Like when you think smut in a book, whatever you're thinking is what they write.
Harlequin romance?
No,
stuff?
way worse.
Like X-rated
Yeah,
stuff.
They sent me they sent me a coloring book that they had made of some of their characters. That was cool.
People do that for a living.
Yeah, and they make.
I
good
wanna
money.
do that.
Yeah, so do I.
I want
The ones where it's finish the picture. They got half of a smut
Yeah.
drawing, and you get to finish the picture. Yeah,
those are the best.
yeah.
We're really missing an opportunity when we were because none of us are single. But when we were single men, we really missed an opportunity of picking up chicks at smut book conventions because they posted pictures from when they were at one of those events, and it was nothing but women everywhere. And if those women are reading that kind of stuff, you know what they're looking for.
I got news for you, buddy.
But
I did do that.
Oh shit! And that's
That is how I met my wife. Keep the questions coming.
Somebody asked if we saw Chris Dotson's theory on the tribute that was on a YouTube thing. I didn't feel
I
the
don't.
need. Like, all respect to that guy, he's a really nice guy, but I've seen how he works puzzles, and like as soon as he said, "I'm gonna dig it up and it's not in Cherokee Park," I was like, "No, you're not. Yes, it is."
Yeah, I avoid that puzzle just because it would be cheating. So
Yeah.
I don't talk at all about it.
The thing that I don't understand is I distinctly remember both John and Kit as having said eventually, "All right, it's in Cherokee Park."
Cherokee Park. I remember that from like 6 or 7 years ago.
Well,
Why are we looking elsewhere?
yeah, I don't know.
I mean, how big is Cherokee Park? Can we just start digging one corner
Big.
our way across?
It's
Humongous.
real big.
Yeah, but there's 17,000 members of the, I mean, we could meet.
Should we just have a dig day?
Didn't you once do the math that if 17,000 members each dug a 1-foot hole, it would be like 30 yards or something? It was like 30 yards of a football field. It would be nothing.
Yeah.
What?
Yes.
Matt has to do that.
Holy shit.
We were bored.
That's discouraging. We're going to need to up the membership.
Yeah.
Guys,
We need to get
do some
whatever.
ads.
Oh, that was a poll, George. That was a long time ago.
Oh. I don't know. Never mind.
Yeah.
So I know, yeah, Joseph Piner is correct. JM did finally say it was in Cherokee Park in an interview somewhere.
Yeah, Kit did too.
And so did Kit.
So Brett, I don't know if I'm allowed to use this name, so I'm going to use the code name. Do you think we're going to get Loki to do an interview?
You know, did you notice that he didn't answer my question? Did you notice
Yeah,
that?
I did notice that.
And that worries me.
He doesn't like to do that.
That worries me. Although I didn't come back in and ask again. But do you want to explain what we're talking about?
So Matt, this was something crazy that Brett thought of, and the more we talked about it, like just the more crazy it was. So Brett and I met years ago on Reddit working on this Reddit puzzle. And then eventually morphed into a whole big series and yada, yada, yada. And it's like, there was this guy that created the puzzles and he went by the name Loki, and he's kind of dropped off the face of the earth for the last 2 or 3 years. So Brett was like, we should reach out to him and see if he'll do an interview, because we were thinking without this guy, none of us would be involved in The Secret. And like none of the things that the podcast group as a whole has caused to happen in The Secret, like pictures of the paintings, a painting hanging on my wall, like none of this stuff would have happened without this one dude.
Never would have met.
Never would have met.
Never would have met all you guys. We wouldn't have.
So this is the guy to blame.
Yeah, it's the guy to blame. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
If The Secret were a tree, he would be the trunk.
Yeah.
So we're trying to convince him to do an interview.
But remember that he did not start that puzzle. What happened
No.
is the person who started the puzzle just, I don't know, they went on fucking vacation or something, and they just like left thousands of people hanging for a month.
Yeah.
And so he came in and took it over very
knowing
discreetly.
the
Matt
answer to the
copyrighted.
puzzle.
No, he
What?
just was one of the people that was trying to solve it. And then he came in with a pseudonym and pretended that I'm back.
Yeah.
And he totally led us down this crazy ass path,
was-
and it was fantastic. And it culminated in this head to head where I had to solve a hangman that he created.
Yeah.
And
Oh, that's hilarious.
It was,
And
it
I
was
had-
nuts.
I just played you guys.
it just was such a weird thing.
Why
If you-
not? Would he come and do an interview? Because that sounds like one
I think
of
he
our
would.
kind of people.
I think he would.
Yeah.
We'll convince him to do it. He's a character. And we wouldn't just talk about this. I mean, he has a whole world of things that dude's a genius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except that time that he got doxxed. Not such a genius then.
Not as genius as he thought. Not as clandestine.
Earlier, we were talking about all the pieces of the lid of the Cleveland cask.
Yeah.
I finally found my picture. I shared it.
So he's
That's
missing
not-
70%.
Yeah, he's missing a lot.
Those don't even look like they go together.
That's where exactly they go. But okay.
See that?
Oh,
see that piece in the center?
Well, those are taken at different times.
That's a tooth. That's somebody's tooth. Get that out of there.
This one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one's on my wall.
That's
Oh, is that the piece you got?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
Cool.
that's cool. That's cool. Yeah.
I would want one of the numbers.
I asked him to take a picture. I even offered to send him a stand so that he could shine a light, put them all at the same distance from the camera,
Yeah.
and take a picture of every piece on all four sides, because then I could do this accurately. But those are pictures taken at different times and different days.
Oh,
You know,
Yeah.
different exposures and all
I
that
had to
stuff.
resize them till they
Oh.
matched the cask underneath. You know, so
So it's just a bunch of garbage is what you got there.
yeah, pretty much. But
Dude, why don't you laser?
I want to see right there on the 8. There's somebody's fingerprint. But here,
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So I said,
That would be interesting.
This is the secret CSI edition.
whose fingerprint
Yeah.
is that? Yeah,
Dude, why don't you just laser print one
I have a 3D printer. If I just
or 3D printing or whatever the kids are talking about these days?
because too many people would compare it to full phase.
Oh,
So
um,
yeah, I was actually working on a really good replica up to that point.
so Cole's not joining us.
No.
That blows.
Canadian.
He's slinging weed these days, right?
Yeah. We got a vote
That's
coming up
pretty
in a
awesome.
couple of days to make that legal in Florida. That's going to be nice.
Is that looking like it's going to pass?
Yeah, you never really know. Probably. We have like our our 3 big bills are weed, abortion rights, getting in our state constitution, and then
Whoa.
something called the right to hunt and fish, which is kind of a bullshit amendment. The first 2, abortion and weed, will most likely pass. But yeah, the right to hunt and fish is kind of a shady amendment.
Thought you guys already could hunt and fish there.
We can. What it basically does is removes protections for a bunch of endangered species.
Dude,
Yeah.
that's the most Florida thing I've ever
You
heard
can
of.
go all day and hunt pythons and
Yeah, you can hunt and fish here,
Water
whatever,
snakes.
yeah.
yeah.
But it basically just removes protections for a bunch of endangered species.
And
Yeah,
the
questions?
government.
the abortion one is also removing protections.
Well, no, the abortion one is guaranteeing the right to abortion in our Constitution.
I won't go there. No reason to get political.
Fuck that, man. Women should be able to choose what happens to their own bodies.
You know, I agree with that 100%. But this is a puzzle podcast.
Is it?
Not really. Not tonight. Not tonight. This is just silly. I feel like we're just chit chatting.
Yeah.
I don't think we're helping we're not even helping anybody.
Uh,
Not like we do anyway.
I hadn't been any other questions really either. That's nice.
No, kind of died down.
so we can blame the people watching.
Oh, there's questions probably on YouTube. I'll look at
Oh.
that.
Check that out.
Is anybody ever going to dig up the tribute? Okay. But it's obviously below the Tomahawk Handle Bridge. That's what the person said. So it's like, all right.
But just because I haven't paid any attention to that, is the tribute is not in the ground. You go dig up something else, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. So,
But nobody
There's
knows what that is.
right. How big it is, we don't know.
Don't know. Is it a pencil box? Is it like a bottle? Like, who knows? Nobody knows.
so you could go dig up something and say, "Hey, look, I found it."
Yeah.
And
Well, it contains
okay. Secret
We
code.
assume.
an email address
We assume.
or something. No, he showed it, didn't he?
Yeah.
Didn't he?
So the thing was, he put the cask in a box, and the box had an email address and instructions and stuff, and then he
Yeah.
dug that back up and took it back home to Milwaukee, and was like, "I left a proxy," and then never expanded on that. So it's like, what kind of proxy? Like, what am I looking for here? So
Um,
And
So-
then he
so-
faked his own death.
yeah, and now
Very,
he's just
very Byron Preiss like.
Now he's laughing at
He's just
us.
chilling at my house.
Yeah.
That's amazing how
he's just
realistic.
sitting there.
Yeah.
When he said he was going to do the tribute to Hunt, I had no clue how close he was going to get it to the real thing. So amazing.
Um,
Too soon?
Well,
Too
it's
soon.
it's weird. Like, so Byron created the secret. John helped, and then he died. Like, Byron died, right?
Yeah.
And then John Michaels created the tribute, and Kit helped,
Yep,
and John
and then-
Michaels died.
Yeah.
Arthur created the anniversary, and I helped, and Arthur died. So don't create treasure hunts.
if you do it on your own. Do not ask for help.
It's
There's
cool to help.
One of you will die.
One of you died.
Well, there's
Um,
never the helper. The helper never dies. So
Oh, okay. So the helper
it's
stays
always the
alive.
person that creates them.
Damn.
Forrest Finn created his hunt. He's dead.
Do not ask for my.
The dude that
Oh,
created
wait.
the golden owl, and he got
Dead.
the painter's help. The dude that created it died.
That's right.
Painter's
Dead.
still alive.
Brett,
Yes.
will you help me create a treasure hunt?
Only if you don't want to live
Oh.
and you want me to live on forever.
All right, okay.
So Patty asked a good one. New to this game and live near Milwaukee. Why do you think it has taken so long to find anything? And I actually have the same question because somebody asked me I got interviewed by some dude in Norway or something. You remember that, George?
Yeah.
He was like all into the secret. He
Nice
said,
guy.
which one do you think is going to be found? Super awesome guy. Which one is going to be found next? I said Milwaukee because I felt like all of the pieces were there. Like, unlike, from my point of view, unlike some of the other images or, the pairings and stuff like that, I felt like everything's here. And I don't know why that one is
I
still
do.
so hard.
It's
Because it
because
was buried on a slope like that.
well, I think it's because everybody knows everything that's correct because of what John said. Everybody knows everything that's correct up to those lions, and they get to those lions, and then they just stop
You
and
don't know where to go.
Well, they ignore the last quarter of the verse keeps going. You get to the
Yeah.
lions, and the verse keeps going. Just do the rest of the verse. I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
I hear you.
Like it tells you,
Um,
go to the lions, go down the path, go under the bridge, hang a left, walk 100 paces that way, then hang a
It
right. Like,
seems like it, but
I think
you've
there's a
been
couple
there.
reasons why they haven't all been found. And the first is these were puzzles designed for locals.
Mhm.
Okay. You had,
Totally.
somebody from San Francisco would not have any idea about the stuff that was in Milwaukee, but they should be able to recognize the San Francisco stuff. Okay. Then there weren't enough readers to generate the amount of people to figure these out.
yeah.
Oh, so you had to have, I mean, how many people in San Francisco or in Milwaukee or in St. Augustine bought this book? It is possible that the only people who bought the book who lived in a city was Chicago, and they found it.
Yeah,
Okay.
you're not wrong.
But what's
Although
weird,
Cleveland.
do you know how many people send me emails that are like, I've been searching since 1982? Or I bought this book in 1982 and I just like, oh God. Come on, you didn't read the book in 1982.
I did.
Yeah, but you can verify that, right?
I actually have my book from 1982 right
No
there.
way.
It's completely falling apart.
Yeah,
But,
mine
like,
is trash.
According to just people's reports, like half of the community started this in 1982. I feel like people think the length of time they worked on it equates to like how I don't know, serious you take them or whatever. Like, it's fine to say you just heard about it on Expedition Unknown.
When did it come out? Oh, no, I make fun of you if you say that. Yeah, November 82. Yeah. Okay. That's why I
Okay
got
to
my
say
book,
around that.
November 82. I opened the box and took it home. I'm not sure I paid for it. So,
Stole that book? Oh,
no,
God.
no,
That's why you don't have a cask. You've started this puzzle
I
off with
started,
a frog.
started a bond, yeah. Yeah.
I think, yeah. So I think what you said totally meant for locals at the time.
Yeah. And now too much time has passed.
Everything's changed.
Changed.
Construction,
Yeah.
the tools we use to solve these have
Yeah.
changed. So people are going like, these weren't meant to be solved on the internet with
Yeah.
internet tools.
Yeah,
So
no.
people are going down this path and you're supposed to be going this way and doing
Yeah.
it by hand and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if you do it by hand, everything's fucking changed,
Mhm.
you know, and there's new buildings and stuff is gone.
And it is so difficult to recreate what was there. I mean,
it's so
you
hard.
can't do it online, but I mean,
Yeah.
he sent me a very nice picture of the back of the Fairmont, where it's obvious the bricks we were digging in were not the bricks there in 1982. That the bricks were changed out.
Yeah, they tore that wall down.
And I thought they emptied it out and sealed it.
I mean, I don't know. Either way.
No, you're right. They tore the wall down. It's not the same bricks. I didn't know that back when we did the video.
Hmm.
I didn't necessarily know they tore the wall
I
down.
but now I look
No,
at them
me
like
neither.
son of a gun. They're different rock.
Yeah.
Well, back to the drawing board, kids.
Yeah. Oh,
But it's like,
well.
if you think about it, Chicago, a quarter of that verse is no longer there. Once you get past Lincoln, nothing's there. Except, I mean, even the fence post is different. If you didn't know that was the fence post because the halo's gone,
Mhm.
like you wouldn't. Cleveland's all still pretty much there. Boston, half of that verse is gone. The Fairmont stuff, out of the 10 or so things we used, there's only like 3 or 4 that are still there.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Progress sucks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even in Milwaukee, like the bridges are different, the paths are different, Walcott statues different, all kinds of shit's different.
Yeah. So which one will be found next? Will probably be the one, if one is found next, it'll probably be the one where the area has changed least.
Whichever one construction's happening at first.
Yeah.
Well, I know. So somebody asked this, and I remember hearing this. Dave says the gift giver said that he thought Roanoke would get found next. Why is that?
I don't know. I'm not.
I don't even know. Yeah.
I mean,
Why
I
is
know,
he giving
like,
gifts?
it's giving headaches.
Fake ass gifts.
I know. John
gift.
keeps saying that he thinks Roanoke will be found next. He said that in Expedition Unknown. I think he said that in the interview for the documentary.
John said that publicly.
Yeah, he thinks Roanoke could be next. Or he
Okay.
said, judging from the way they're solved, Roanoke should be next.
Does he read the current, or is he aware of the current searching methods or what people are looking at?
No, he doesn't.
What the hell does he mean by judging?
Well,
What is
he
he
said that
judging?
he said they're getting solved in the order intended. That's what he said, and that the next one should be Roanoke.
Okay, but I mean, if
He doesn't know.
he doesn't
like-
know if it's not been, if it was out on the beach under the sea gate, it's gone.
I mean, like the amount that John knows about the secret, he occasionally watches these streams, and he sometimes reads the comments,
Yeah.
and then
Oh,
it's
yeah, never read the comments.
whatever a searcher tells him, that's what he knows. Which is why I don't put any stock into, like, at the meetup he said there's something huge that you guys haven't found, because he doesn't
What?
know everything that we found.
For which one?
He didn't say. He said there's 2 things in one painting that's huge and as obvious as the wall in Cleveland that
Wait.
nobody's found.
2 things in the single
2
painting
things in the same painting
that
are obvious.
are obvious and that will help you unleash the entire thing, or what? Or just for that puzzle? Sorry, just for that city.
Just for that city. He said that nothing crosses over. So one set of puzzles is contained.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he said there's two things in one painting that are very obvious.
And he doesn't think anybody's found it yet.
No. You know
He doesn't
something?
know for sure.
He doesn't know
Does
for
he?
sure. No. But you know something else he said that you'll think is cool. He said that he was painting a personal painting, just a painting for himself, and Byron saw that painting and said we should use that in the secret. So they modified it.
No
They
way.
use in the book, yeah.
When you say personal painting, you mean
Just one of his, like,
not of himself.
not
You
of
just mean
himself.
one of just some.
He was painting.
So there's
a painting for himself.
something.
Is
There's
that
something random.
is
in
that something they used in the book, or is that something he said they should use in the
No,
book?
they used it. One of the paintings. They
So
just
one of
modified
those paintings was not originally designed
for the book.
for the book.
I'm almost certain it has to be Milwaukee. That's the one that's closest to any of his personal work.
I don't know enough about like his stuff, but that seems
Well, it's just a dude in a religious pose, and
Yeah.
then you add some shit in his hands and paint City Hall in the background, and boom, you're
a,
done.
a cicada
Yeah.
or whatever you call that thing. There's like a
Yeah.
cicada in there. Oh, and okay, I need to make sure that my house isn't burning down.
Oh yeah,
So I'm
do
gonna-
that.
I'm going to start
Yeah.
you guys on this, and then I'm going to take a quick break. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
This was a pretty good question. Unless you're tired of talking about clues in the front of the book. Although, wasn't there also a development on that or something like that? Okay, George, front of the book clues. Can you talk about JJP hinting that Boston was in hair of Fay on fence? What, where, when was that mentioned? Also, do you believe there's additional hints in that illustration? And I'll put you guys on. And that's from Rob Caragulo. Caragulo. All right, I'm going to take a break. I'll see you guys in a second.
Now that Rob's pissed at us,
Sorry, Rob. Hey, I asked your question, bro.
there you go. There you go.
I'm not Italian. Okay, be right back.
Somebody has pointed out that every single letter of the alphabet can be found in that fence. You can make that fence spell anything.
Yeah.
But he was talking about the hair.
yeah.
Wait, let me grab my book.
There's something that I've learned.
So this
And
guy,
I learned it. Yeah, you can look at that page on 12 Treasures and it's illustrated if you want.
yeah. Does it say Boston in his hair?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it does.
There's something that I learned is that all of these things that are said, whether John says them publicly or John says them to me and I say like, oh, this was said, or someone else says them or, whatever. You're either going to believe them or you're not. So me going through the details of how something came out is both tiring and not helpful at all. So like, do I remember how that was confirmed? Yeah. Am I going to go through the story? No. Believe it or don't. I don't care. Like John's legitimately said all the cities are correct and people still don't believe that. So me telling how that was, it's not going to help. So believe it or don't. I think that's going to be my default answer for basically all of the, like, where did this come from? Believe it or don't.
Well, the thing that people are going to people are going to say is, all right, if all the cities are correct, are all the verses that are associated with those cities correct?
I mean, people already say that, but John doesn't know. Like, there's no way for him to. Byron's gone. He's the only one that can answer that question. But I mean, most likely, I can't think of any pairing that would have any reasonable change.
The only one that I think could possibly be is Montreal, Charleston, and I don't believe that is the case.
No, you can't switch Montreal anymore now that when Hardapy found granite walls, that was it. You can't do it. It's a line in the verse. It's really obscure. It's directly across the street from the leg eater. You just can't do it anymore.
Yep.
You used to be able to. You used to be able to switch Milwaukee and Montreal.
You used to be able to argue different cities.
Yeah, but people are gonna argue whatever they want, and it's fine.
Yep.
Simple logic. Like if you just apply simple logic to this stuff, It's really easy to be like, oh yeah, that's true, that's not true, that's correct, that's not correct. Whatever. It's a puzzle. I don't know if anybody's. Did Rob yell at me for that answer?
Is there a
think it's the
13th
answer.
cat, George?
No.
Okay. done
Do you
with that one.
disagree?
No. Where did I come from? Oh, Pete. So,
But yeah, I mean, I think there's only so much you can shove into art, you know?
are the reconstructed photos good to use, or do you think they might portray something that is not in the original image?
What do you think, Matt?
What do I think?
Yeah.
Oh, I can go on for quite a while here. We have demonstrated again and again and again, there's stuff in the reconstructed images that are not in the original images.
Yeah, like the New York gem is completely computer generated in the reconstructed image.
Okay, so I mean, they are pretty, okay, but they are not. And people zoom in on them. I mean, if you just looked at it and went, here's
Yeah,
the picture,
they're fine.
you know, that'd be fine. But they zoom into a depth of detail that the book cannot, does not support. And don't do that.
Yeah.
So
Well, didn't somebody say that you didn't need you didn't need them any clearer to solve these?
Well, John looked at those because I told him, I was like, I sat down at his kitchen table. It was a fun conversation. And I was like, you're going to get conversations at this meetup about something called the reconstructed images. And he's like, the reconstructed
wait a second.
images?
You prepped your witnesses?
Oh, I did. Well, like
Uh-oh, that's illegal.
before the meetup, we had this thing where I was like, okay, give me because not everybody can go to the meetup, right? But I wanted to make sure good questions got through. So we had a live stream where I was like, just blast me with questions. You want to ask John Palancar, I'll write them down. He'll answer what he wants to answer. And that's what happened. But I was like, you're going to hear about the reconstructed images. This is what they are. And he looked at them and he was like, these are really nice. Like some of these look better than the paintings. And I was like, yeah. And then at the meetup, he was like, those images are better than what's in the book. But I think he's also operating on the assumption that, like you just said, Matt, people are just looking at the images. They're not zooming way in.
Yeah.
You zoom way in, you're going to see all kinds of shit that's not in the book.
All right. There are misspellings in the paintings that aren't in the book. His signature was spelled wrong. It definitely says J.
Oh,
JPP.
Yeah,
no, that's
yeah.
in the painting. That's in the painting. Yeah. So you're talking about where it says John, but the H looks like a B or something.
It might be. I don't know.
That's in the painting. He's
Okay.
screwed up.
All right.
He screwed his own initials up.
Screwed his own initials up. Well, I guess he just screwed up painting, like brush stroke, whatever.
And Rob, I apologize. I was.
But it's hard to
I
get
had a
scale
bad
because it's
moment
like
there.
that signature's like that big on the painting. It's tiny.
Yeah.
Do you know in the San Francisco painting, in the clock, his initials are there, JJP,
Yes.
and he didn't remember that. And he legitimately, was like, I didn't, because I asked him, I was like, why'd you sign that painting twice? And he was like, I didn't sign it twice. And he's like, you did. You signed it at the bottom of the painting, and then you put your initials in the watch. And he's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, you did. And he legitimately pulled the painting out. And I took out my phone and had to zoom. You can't see it with your naked eye. I had to zoom in and show him. And he was like, oh, I forgot about that. I was just practicing brush control.
Bro, don't brush control us.
Yeah.
These are hard enough.
So it's like all these zooming in things is like, I don't know.
Is your house burning down?
Oh, thanks for asking. Finally,
Yeah, no worries.
jerks.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay. Sorry.
Is Lael, did you put Lael on it? She's like, Lael's putting it out.
She's out there with a hose and a watering can. Judy asks, question for you. Are you still working on solving the puzzles, or are you out of the hunt according to your agreement with JJP?
Yeah, I don't work on these anymore. I got too much other stuff to do.
Okay. Is the Venmo pic an old one? It doesn't look like him. I actually noticed that too. It's either old or just like manipulated.
The Bradley Venmo pic?
Yeah, I'm sure that's what she's talking about because I'm like, this isn't the same guy.
It's the picture of like him and Laura together, right? His wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just old.
What else do we got here? I will tell you one thing that's changed in the 2 years since I haven't been here is that these questions are a lot better. People seem more educated.
People aren't as angry anymore, which is
and
nice.
people maybe it's because I left, but
well,
I mean,
you left right when like Expedition Unknown was constantly rerunning, so we constantly had people who knew nothing. You know, and
which is fine.
Yeah, but since then, people
care.
have had time to kind of learn on their own.
I like that. I like that. I don't know. Maybe more information is generally available to people, or we just have a better quality people, or they care more. I don't know. If you're in it this long, you probably care a lot.
We used to tell people to go back and read Quest for Treasure. We don't anymore for many reasons. But there's like, number one, it's hard to troll through 1,500 pages of just bullshit just to learn a new factoid. There was this dude, his name's Evan Hoovler, who back in the day went through Quest for Treasure and wrote down a timeline of each puzzle, like who discovered what and what conversations were happening. And I think I want to go back and find those and put them on 12 Treasures.
Oh, yeah,
because you could just read that,
sweet.
And it's like a Cliff Notes version of everything.
Yeah, and guess what? He's dead because he created a hunt. He's not. No.
Somebody posted Forrest Fenn.
Yeah, he died.
And he was dying when he started. So that's kind of a,
Rob,
we like the drama.
I'll tell you, Rob, you know what? And I'll be honest about this. So Rob asked me why I took off. And Brett, we like the drama. It sells. Exactly why I don't make fun of people's names. It's self-deprecating to pretend that I cannot pronounce something. And I use a lot of self-deprecating humor. That's why I do that. Perfect example. Try to say that with a straight face in a normal conversation too. The reasons why I left. There was one main reason, and that's because there were two, actually. I think I was kind of looking to get out anyway, just because it was taking a lot of my time and I'm just like super busy, and that hasn't changed. But the other reason is that George was going through some strife at that time, and there were threats to him and his job and his family, and people were doxing him and messing with him. And I'm not all about that. Yeah. And so in solidarity with George, I said, F this, I'm taking off, and I don't need this in my life. And that
is why I left, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's why everybody left.
Yeah, it's like boom, gone. Yeah.
So in a serious moment of seriousness, I took off because of in support of George, who proceeded to keep doing it.
Well, it was it was Crew Pat's fault. I look
like the asshole if I come back.
It was Crew Pat's fault. He did it.
Was it Crew Pat's fault?
It was Crew Pat's fault, 100%. Because so I was gone, and then Crew Pat called me, and he was like, "Hey, I have a project that I'm doing, and I need your help."
That's right.
And he had to do the Boston meetup thing, and I was like, "I've used this dude's name so many times, like he's never asked for anything." So I was like, "Well, I got to do this." So that's what I did. Blame Jason.
I blame him for a lot of things, actually. Yes, it was me that found the golden owl. Thank you, Jack B. Nimbus. And
we gotta get
that was
a podcast.
Dude, he'll never do it.
No.
Brett Towel. Brett Towel.
Brett threw in the
Just
towel?
2 words. Brett Towel.
Don't leave home without it.
I was crying. I don't know.
It found your face and wet it down for the smoke.
Oh,
maybe.
Excellent idea.
Okay. Also, when the fire's coming, you just cover your face and you don't see it get you.
My
Some-
first job was at a gas station just outside of Sonoma, and a fire started in the field. Remember when we had fields, Matt? Big
you guys.
open fields
Yeah.
back in the day.
Yeah, back in
I
the-
know you still do.
I
There's
remember
none.
when your house there was an open field. So
There's none left.
yeah.
So there's this big open field, and somebody jets into the gas station. They're like, guys, there's a fire in the field over here. Probably somebody threw a cigarette out or something like that. So we throw some stuff in a truck the mechanic was there. And so the mechanic and I bail in his truck, and I'm 14, I think at this time, underage working. And we go to like look at the fire and like assess the damage. And I grab this blanket out of the back of his truck and throw it out there. And he's like, dude, that's my fucking blanket. Why? That was an expensive blanket. And I'm like, dude, we're trying to put a fire out here. And then that's when I realized that I do not have a future in firefighting.
While you guys were all out in the field, did somebody come in and rob the gas station?
And then we got robbed.
Okay.
You know, you helped me
I think it was
realize.
a cigarette that lit the fire, but okay.
I'm sure it was. Yeah.
You helped me realize how bad it was for kids who live in San Francisco. Because when me and Rachel went up there one year to visit you guys, we went to the San Francisco
There are
Zoo,
no kids that live in San
and we came back and we were like, the zoo was okay, but they had a cow, just like an American cow, just in the zoo. Like, why do you?
There's a cow.
Why do you have a cow? Like, don't. And you were like, dude, it's San Francisco. Kids around here have never seen a cow.
It's food. That was food.
No,
That
it was
for
like
the burgers.
Where
That was for burgers.
because it was a little farm area. There was a cow. There was a little pony. There was a pig.
What you didn't see was that was also backed up against the lion's pen, and at night they just open up the gate and was all happy.
No, we had like a frontier land here too. I don't know if people from the area remember frontier land. Matt, you must remember frontier land up in the
Frontier Village.
Frontier Village down in San Jose.
San Jose, yeah, that's where the action is.
That was
Fun in the
cool.
West.
And that just goes to show you that like the frontier living was foreign, and this is back in the 70s.
Yeah.
Which is not too far from when people were like taking stagecoaches, in the grand scheme of things, across the country. But we were cut off from that here, so you had to go to frontier land to see how people roughed it.
That's
But,
right.
like you leave St. Augustine or Jacksonville or whatever big city around here, and you drive 15 minutes, and it's just fields.
Wait. Time
It's
out,
like
time
farms.
out.
Okay,
St. Augustine, big city?
it's pretty big now. Yeah,
Is it?
It's gotten a lot bigger. Yeah.
Seems small to me. When I was
No,
Oh,
they've
yeah.
started developing. So area wise, we got a shitload of people. There's like St. Augustine has like 3 different cities or whatever in it now. It's not a high city, but it's a very spread out city.
Okay.
But anyway, you drive like 10 minutes outside of St. Augustine or Jacksonville and you see fields. And then I remember, Brett, you drove us like 3 hours up the Pacific Coast Highway. And there was no empty space at all. It was just packed with shit.
you're talking 101. That's not the PCH.
Yeah, in
or the-
California, we have this valley that runs from one end of the state to the other on the other side of the hills.
Right.
Where, that's where we keep our fields.
Oh,
That's
okay.
where the fields are kept.
All right.
Exactly. They're locked away.
Yeah.
Nobody goes
You
there.
want people living near your fields. That's just silly.
They set them on fire
Always.
with their cigarettes.
Yeah.
Well, you guys should rake them. We had a president
Yeah.
once that said you had to rake the field. Just rake everything up and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
What they need is some raking. A good old fashioned raking.
Just go out to Norway and look at their beautiful fields. It's because
In Norway, they have windmills and fish, and they're eating the dogs of the fish. Yeah, the fields are where we keep the cow. Good job, Pete. George, I haven't read this yet. I haven't vetted the question. I'm reading off the cuff here. During the most recent Sunday Fun Day, I didn't even know you guys are still doing that, by the way. You're still doing
Sometimes.
okay.
If
You
somebody
expressed-
asks to come on, we'll do it.
you expressed a lighthearted concern that this community could turn into what the Fen Hunt was in the end, which was a bunch of infighting and anger, which this, when I left, that's what was going on.
Yeah.
For the most part, I felt
Let's
like
calm down.
the most recent Project Skydrop community Discord was an absolute mess. What do you think is different with this community that this wouldn't happen? And what do you think needs to change to avoid this path?
Serge and I tracked down those people and we dealt with them.
Murdered.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you know, Brett, do you know about Project Skydrop?
You told me that it's a miserable mess and
Yeah.
bunch
Matt,
of people pissed at each other.
Do you know about it? Do you know about the hunt, Matt?
Nope.
Okay, so what this guy did was he took a gold sculpture and he put it in the woods, and he created a website that had like a perimeter. It was 150 miles something perimeter, and then every day that perimeter would shrink. And I don't know if you got hints or anything, it would just shrink. And he had a live webcam pointed on the treasure, and whoever found it, found it.
Cool.
First come, first
Oh
served.
yeah, that's right.
So there was a lot of like backbiting and stuff, but the best thing was their Discord, because their Discord was open. You could just join it. You had to pay to get in the hunt, but you could just join the Discord. And it was like 4chan in the early 2000s. There's just people posting porn, and there was racist shit everywhere. It was crazy. It was crazy to see. It was probably the worst example of a treasure hunting forum I've ever seen.
But didn't they have some drama at the end where somebody showed up there at the same time as somebody else and some?
Well, a
Do you know
guy
about
just
that?
So in order to claim the prize, you had to film yourself finding it. You had to do like a selfie video of yourself finding it, and you had to take it without any confrontation. And the dude who found it just didn't take. And if you did that, you won like an $80,000 prize or something in addition to the sculpture. And the dude who took it just didn't do the video and was like, I don't care about the money.
Somebody just
Cool.
posted the finder found it by tracking the weather.
Yeah. The finder was a meteorologist who watched the live stream and tracked the rain patterns. So he found it tracking,
What?
Yeah, the rain patterns.
Oh,
That
is
is
awesome.
genius.
Yeah.
So next time you do that, every now and then you hose down the area from off camera
Yeah.
and past shadows and hit it with floodlights, so it's got different. Just free.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So what keeps the secret community from doing that?
Nothing. It happens regularly.
There's not one single prize
Yeah.
of a shrinking perimeter where people eventually it's going to get small enough to where people are bitching at each other about it. There really isn't that many rules. You know what I mean? Like you have to video yourself finding it. Hey, you didn't video yourself. You don't, like stuff like that. I feel like there's a diverse enough crowd, and it's all across the United States. It's not one single thing that people are fighting over, and there's no money involved with it either.
Well,
Those are
Billions
probably
of dollars. What are you talking about?
and we still fight.
yeah. But not nearly as bad as those other people.
No, there's no racist discord, but I mean, people. There's been all sorts of people pissed off at each other and
I think
drama.
in some ways we can toot our own horn for this, because the other hunts, like things like Project Skydrop, have creators that are just they're vacant. It's whatever. They're just, here's a hunt, give me your money, go do whatever you want. And then places like Forest Fen, all of the sort of leaders in that community were really invested in the drama, and they pushed the drama, and that caused more drama. But in the secret, you've got two main groups, maybe 2.5 or 3. 2 of them are just slap fucking full of drama. And then there's ours, because the mods don't put up with that shit. They don't encourage that shit. They don't talk about it. Like, I think as much as people complain about Facebook, like the Facebook group, it created a, just by the way it was set up and run by all of the mods, a sense of community in the events that the community does together. And it created a sense of sort of teamwork in a way, which kept a lot of that drama out.
That's funny. These meetups actually are game changers.
Yeah.
That you organize all the time. Like I hated Matt, right? And then
Me too.
Because Matt's a know-it-all.
and then I met him in person, and I'm like, I can't tell him that I hate
You know how
him
many
in
times the
person.
admins have kicked me off these boards?
Yeah.
What
I
they
tried.
Realizes I'm an admin, so I put myself in.
But that's like that's the thing. Like you get these people, and people are always different online. You don't know how to read them, right? You just don't know how to read text. So somebody could be being nice, but you're reading them as being angry. Then you meet them in person, and you realize what kind of
They're
person
awesome.
They are. Yeah,
they're awesome.
My secret is I'm always angry.
But Matt is always angry,
Yeah.
which is fine. So you know that, and you deal with it. Okay, quick plexiglass question. How long do those last?
Forever.
Matt, probably not. You're right. I was going to say, as long as they're not
They will
pounded,
last forever unless they're shattered
trashed.
by something mechanical,
Mhm.
and a probe is not going to break a plexiglass cask. However, that being said, they're held together by like rubber cement.
yeah.
Okay,
they could
might
come apart.
age if there's movement of the soil of any kind. Yeah, it's going to come apart.
I mean, I got a piece of the Cleveland plexiglass, a big piece, and I hit that thing as hard as I could with a hammer.
Yeah,
and it barely left a mark.
So
Like,
your probe ain't doing
probe
anything
ain't doing
besides
shit.
ticking the top.
yeah. However,
noise.
that being said, okay, like in Golden Gate Park, there's 100-year-old cast iron water pipes that you can push through with your little pinky.
Yeah.
Okay, so be careful where you shove one of those probes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if they could provide us a map of where the pipes are, that would help. Then we wouldn't.
Or where the casks are.
That would
Even
work.
better.
That would work.
Don't.
Honestly, though, if you're worried about the although PVC actually is a little bit tougher to puncture than a cast iron pipe, especially those old ones, but you can metal detect the cast iron pipes before
Right.
they're big. So
Okay, moving on from that one because there's a few coming in here, and then I need to go here pretty soon. But
Dave got my reference. I appreciate you, Dave. Okay.
good job, Dave. Jordan Munt.
Hi, Linda.
Also a cool name. Jordan Munt. Is there any summary as to what has been said about the dots in the New York photo painting? I vaguely remember printing problems or something being said by JJP. Can't find much info on this topic, but I'm sure it's been discussed before.
Printing problems was something I brought up, which my thought was there was some detail in the dots that didn't make it from the original painting into the book. And I asked John Michaels to contact JJP and say, is that true? Because I seriously didn't think that happened. And JJP said through John Michaels to me, everything that I wanted to be in the dots shows up in the dots in the book.
Yeah, he said that.
And the other thing
too.
said was, where was the story? Was it on EU where he said, I drew the dots, I showed them to Byron, and he said something like, "Oh, that's evil."
Yeah.
That's all I know about the dots.
That's all.
It's the countries in the UN to point to the UN building. That is the actually.
They're face false. You're an idiot.
You are. You're a one-eyed Willie.
Can you feel the love?
The love tonight. All right.
Wait, Linda, where are you calling from? I thought you were like out on the road.
Calling from?
I mean, she's got 3 or 4 comments in the thing.
Yeah, but are we like KSFO DJs now? Caller, where are you calling from?
I got the sign right there, KSFO, right there.
We're here with Brett from Oakland.
Yeah, not for long.
No.
Yeah, one way or another, not for long.
There you go. Are you going to move?
What's that?
Are you going to move?
No.
Oh, okay.
Dude, Brett's house.
Can it be
is
burned out
amazing.
shortly?
No. Also, no.
But if you do get burned out, are you just gonna set up a tent on the side of the hill and live like hermits?
Probably all we'll be able to do.
Yeah, that's probably all
you
you'll
can
be
all
able to
move
afford.
into the Mormon temple.
That
place
thing is right.
gorgeous.
I
Yeah,
know
you
that'd
can
be a cool place to live.
Place is awesome.
Got a great view.
You know what's cool is that when I'm on flights, I use that as my reference point if I'm sitting on that side of the plane. So when I see that, I can follow the road right up to our house. It's
When
pretty
I
neat.
fly in, the flights going into Sacramento from like Vegas or wherever, they come right over my house. So if I'm
Love
on
it.
the right hand side of the plane, there's home, and then I pass it, and I have to come all the way back to the house.
I'm
I
pretty
will
sure.
text Lael and try to get her to stand out on the
Wave.
Yeah,
and wave, because
Yeah.
you literally can see it like
Yeah.
that clearly. You know what I mean? You can see people.
that's cool.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that Mormon temple's lights are why California has blackouts. That
I
place is
probably-
so bright.
That it takes everything we got.
Oh, well,
Which
Um,
going to get to 200,000 K in Washington, Oregon, Alaska.
I don't know.
Was that another hunt?
which one of you is gonna get?
There's that hunt that's coming out. It's called There's Treasure Inside.
Oh, that was not out though yet, is it?
No.
That come out in November,
Mid-November.
mid-November. Okay.
Are you?
Oh, okay,
You're
well,
working on that?
That will
know.
be me. Yeah, that will be me.
That won't be me. Might be Brett.
Maybe.
Brett will do it.
What else?
I don't know.
Can I go?
Yeah, man. I mean, we can end if you want. We've been going for like
Well,
It's
I
up
thought
to
you got
your-
a hard out.
an hour and a half. Huh?
It's up to,
I thought Brett had people coming over.
I do in a half hour.
Oh.
And I should probably go.
You gotta get ready and stuff.
Yeah. So fun talking to you guys. You guys should stay on and talk if people want to still ask you guys. You're the ones that are answering all the questions.
But you're the one that people come to see.
Yeah,
You're like the pretty one. You're the front man.
there you go.
You are
What do you-
our Robert Plant. You are
You're-
our Jim Morrison.
You're trying to flatter me.
Yeah.
What are you trying to get from me?
There's a really nice house in the Oakland Hills.
Not for long.
Not for long. Suckers. I'm burning it to the ground.
Rob says he likes your voice.
Oh, that's very sweet of him. I like yours too.
He hadn't said anything.
He has a really
Oh.
nice restaurant though. If you come back to Florida,
Oh,
we should
really?
go. Yeah.
Whereabouts?
Sarasota, I think.
Oh yeah, I think I remember seeing on his profile he's over on the. Hopefully he did okay with the hurricanes.
He says Gorbs has a face for radio, which is true.
Orbis George.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's me. Rob's he's like looking at me and drooling so much that he can't type.
That's what the
It's
towel's
Gorbs.
for.
Gorbs. It's Gorbs. Yeah, that's what the towel
Get a
is.
towel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys. I'm gonna go.
Okay.
It was
Matt-
fun.
Matt, do you want to stick around or should we just tell people to get
It's only 5:30 here. I'm good. Keep
Okay.
going.
If you want Matt to stick around, give Bradley money.
There you go.
All right.
Dude, Brad, all the donations are gonna stop.
Oh shit. If you want Matt to go, give Bradley.
Give Bradley.
All right. I can't. Yeah.
I
All right,
love
well,
you guys.
Thank you for coming and hanging out, Brett.
Hey, dude.
That was
It's been too
fun.
long.
I
Yeah.
know, and we got to get together in person. And yeah,
Absolutely.
this fire thing sort of got in the
Yeah.
way, but we're all good.
Yeah, okay.
Have a good night.
Okay, yeah, you guys too. This is fun. Thanks for having me.
Send our love to Lael.
I will. Bye, guys. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, now Brett's gone. We can have fun.
Yes, there, let's step it up. Okay.
I don't know if there were any other questions. Let me look.
I don't know.
I haven't looked at anything on Facebook or on YouTube. There's a lot.
Linda could come on and show us slides from her Spanish trip. There
Yeah,
you
she
go.
could just
Yeah.
turn on her camera and be like, "I'm in Spain."
Yeah. No, she says she's back.
Oh,
So, anyway,
let's see. Let's
so
let's talk about the template JJP talked about and what we think he is talking about.
a little square about this big that he had to paint all the paintings in.
Well, so he said that the puzzles were made with a template, right? But we already know a bunch of that template. I mean, paintings have latitude and longitude coordinates. There's, the month flowers, the numbers for the months, and
Each painting was basically inspired by another painting.
yeah.
Now it's arguable if that painting, the original painting, is a clue. Maybe it is.
The easy thing with stuff like a template is, the reason
on us.
the reason I can be relatively sure that we found them, like we found what we may not know how to use it, but we found what we need for the template, is there's 12 individual puzzles. So you would expect whatever needs to be in this template to show up 12 times. And we have a pretty long list of what those of things that do that.
Things that do that.
Yeah. So it would surprise me if you were to find a new thing that's mentioned 12 individual times. Like the latitude and longitude coordinates or the months or the gems or the yada yada yada. It would surprise me if a new thing is found.
I keep expecting at some point the mathematical methodology to associate a painting with a verse. It's there. We know it was intended to be there.
Yeah.
He talked about it after the book came out because he talked about it for the Japanese hints. So it's not like afterwards he went, "Oh, I screwed that up. It doesn't work." This is a year later. He's saying it exists.
Yeah.
So we know that exists. I keep expecting that some genius out there is going to go, "Here it is." And we'll all go, "Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah."
That's the thing about like when people find these grand things about the secret.
Yeah.
They don't have to try to convince anybody that they're correct.
Yeah.
It's just, here's a thing. And then everybody's like, oh yeah, that's
that's one. Yep. Those are the ones that are obvious.
Yeah.
Ones that you gotta, okay, but this means this, and this represents that, which references this. Isn't it obvious?
Yeah, no.
No, it's not. So
let's see.
Do you have any idea what's the sound the plexiglass box makes when you hit it? I do.
Me, it sounds just like a tree root. Or coquina.
It depends on, it sounds, all right. If you just take a probe in Golden Gate Park anywhere and you push it down into the ground about 8 inches till you get down to the sand, and then you push it down, that's the sound it makes. It makes the exact sound as hitting sand.
Yeah. I've been doing this a long time, and I can't tell the difference between plexiglass, coquina, tree roots. Tree roots give a little bit, but so does coquina.
Yeah.
And I guess so does sand. So,
no, when sand compacts down, it doesn't move at all.
Our sand does.
Slowly push. The Golden Gate Park doesn't, and it makes a hollow thunking sound.
Yeah, I think
I found it. No, you didn't.
With our, we've got a little like a topsoil layer. Yeah. Then we've got it's called a mitten layer, which is just oyster shells.
Okay.
And then we have coquina, and then we have sand, and there's like a air gap between the coquina and the sand a little bit, so it doesn't get completely compressed. You can just it's weird.
Ghost sunk. Okay. Hey, you ever dug my spot in, or even go and looked at my spot in St. Augustine?
By Smoky D's.
No, from the arch, walk straight in past the gate,
Yeah. Straight to
through
that.
the picnic area. I don't know if it's still a picnic area, but basically across from the radio station.
That's way in the back.
It's
Way.
halfway back.
Mm.
Halfway back. That's where my spot is.
Okay. Well, so there's two spots that you've given me to look at. One is right next to the restaurant. There's a tree, and the restaurant is currently sitting where you wanted me to dig at that tree. It's on top of that. And then there's a second back where John Fraser parks. And that back in the 80s was the middle of the woods.
Wait a second. Share there. Share. You see that?
Yeah, that's Florida.
That is Florida.
That's home.
So, I'm lost. Where is it?
South.
South.
No. Yeah, no, you're too far south now.
Oh, am I? Where's
Yeah.
the
Go north. North and to the right. It's
where's the wait a second. Where's the there it is. Wait a second. There's the where is the
okay. You see that? You see
there's
that
the
run?
Castillo right there.
Yeah.
Okay, there's the Castillo. Okay, right.
It's
right
highlighted.
there.
There's a
There
little.
it is.
Yeah.
Okay. So my spot that I've wanted you to dig for a million years is basically here.
Okay, yeah, that was woods. But
Yeah.
I mean,
That's still my spot.
okay,
There's the restrooms that are new, right?
yeah,
So it's probably, and here's the planetarium, right? So
Yeah.
it's probably here, right on the outside of the fence.
okay.
Thing where everything lines up to that one spot right there, then it's not in the foyer.
y-
So,
I mean, you just gave me a length, like a car length area, but
there was a tree there. It was just a tree. You know, it's like,
there's still a tree there.
okay, well,
think.
let's buy the tree.
That's just down from where John Fraser parks.
Okay. Well, that's my spot. That's
Uh,
always my spot.
Just come up, we'll dig it.
Down,
Come, whatever. Over, come over.
over. Yeah, sounds like a plan.
We got to get you to St. Augustine. You've never been, have you?
Absolutely, I've been to that spot. I've stood on
Oh.
that spot,
I didn't know that.
but it said, "Don't go here. There's peacocks.
Beware of
So-
the peacocks.
Beware of the peacocks." So yeah, I've been there. Yeah, long before I knew you. So
That would be a very difficult dig.
well, you only got
Very
to go down to the cask. So
Do we have anything else?
I don't know. Let me see.
Looking on
Uh,
YouTube, there's not like any direct.
Are we boring
Shows.
people?
I don't care.
No soup for me.
Oh, no.
No. All right. Was the Fairmont news you guys were what was the Fairmont news you guys were avoiding earlier? Were we avoiding Fairmont news?
We're avoiding Fairmont news.
I don't know of any Fairmont news.
There's no
Still-
news.
Still where the cask was, but
Yeah. Can you send me the picture of the different bricks?
I will.
Okay.
Pissed me off. So, all right. So here was my other thought was, okay, if they tore the wall down, right?
I didn't think they
My
did
thought
that.
was they dug it out, right? If they dug it out, they would have found the cask. Okay. But if they just grabbed hold of the wall and ripped it down,
Well,
and
either Either way, they dug down and put in those drain pipes.
Right, but they
and
could have
electrical.
taken the dirt mechanically out
Yeah.
that way. If the wall was gone, they could have just scraped it off with a bucket, put it in a pile, and then when they built the new wall,
Put it back.
put the dirt back, and nobody might have noticed. It's
Well, if they empty the wall, they're likely to do that anyway.
yeah.
They do the same thing.
Yeah. So, but if they emptied it, they would have done it granularly
If
and seen
yeah,
it.
if they didn't take down that wall, they would have had to empty it by hand. There's no way
Yeah.
you're getting machinery.
I thought they emptied it by hand, but the possibilities there. Nobody looked in the dirt, and it's just moved. So,
Maybe.
or crushed, and pieces are there. So
Or
in the 2025, 2026, when they remodel that, I'm gonna be there and see what the dirt looks like. That's
Yeah.
news. Yeah. Okay.
She said
Shaking your head, George, at whatever Matt was bringing up. Oh, that's because George doesn't agree with me most of the time. For whatever.
no. He's talking about with the Fairmont. I don't remember. I don't remember.
What was that? What was I bringing up?
I don't remember.
Remember what I was bringing up.
Hmm.
Over the course of your podcast, did JM change his mind about the endpoint in Milwaukee? No.
Oh yeah, he did, because he started out at Walcott and he ended up at the Lion.
Oh,
Remember?
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're absolutely right. He did change his mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he started.
But
Well,
at
I don't
the
know
end-
if that was during the podcast though, because he was looking at Walcott a long time ago.
Yeah.
Like it
Well,
might
in
have
the
been
end,
before the podcast.
JM was thinking it was on the slope face beside the Lion.
Yeah, closest to the North Point Lighthouse.
North Point thing. But that slope has eroded and that slope has been rebuilt
Yeah,
several times. So FYI. Hey Matt, let me know when that happens. I'll be a second pair of eyes. Oh, okay.
he's a good dude. You should let him know.
I will absolutely let people know.
He is our Reddit mod.
Oh, very good. Okay. It's so cool to hear you guys on here again.
It's so cool to be on here again.
Were we off? I mean, even when I wasn't going on Facebook, I was coming on your podcast.
Yeah, it's different though, man. Like, because I still do Sunday Fun Days, but you can't just like bullshit with people sometimes, you know. And I every time I go to disagree with somebody when I'm doing a Sunday Fun Day and they're like a new person, I think I'm about to piss them off or I'm going to sound like an asshole or something. But with you guys,
All of the above.
I don't feel
Yeah.
that way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, I don't care what Matt thinks.
Yeah, exactly. And you piss me off, and it's like
I'm still trying to think about the Fairmont news. What would I have shaken my head at?
What would I have said?
I don't know.
I don't remember what I said about the Fairmont. We did talk a little bit about the Fairmont clue being you saying there were multiple iterations of the Fairmont clue. Fairmont.
Yeah. Well, there's only two.
Yeah. Okay. When the stream is, oh my God, we're recording this? Oh, okay. They're going to go look for us. So.
Trying to think now. I don't know. Pete's got a podcast. I want to go on his podcast. People just go and like complain to him and talk about how much their life sucks, and he just listens. And it's very, very cathartic.
That'll be a whole show.
I could do that for hours. I could do that about The Secret for hours.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about what happened on Monday.
What happened this week? Yeah. Okay. So somebody asked something.
Oh, and he drinks beer.
I drink beer, don't forget. Oh, so that's bribe him.
Yes.
So
Somebody asked what?
he said he drinks beer, don't forget. So I just say bribe him.
Well, he's invited me. I just don't know when he streams on Twitch, and I don't know when. And I gotta like put all my shit up to stream. So Plus, I don't think he does video of the other people. Like, I think he just does audio, so you just connect to like an audio stream, which is probably better for me because, as Rob says, I have a face for radio.
You could go on there and say, "Hi, this is Brett Zingler," and then just dump all your.
That's a great idea.
You know, all your secrets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what else do we want to talk about? We only have about 20 minutes left before I have to go.
No, that's fine. That's fine. What else do we want to talk about?
Have you seen anything in the groups that's been interesting?
It's amazing how much it repeats. Okay. So I mean, there's people, seriously, there are people sending me solutions that come right up to the giant of the forest, goddess of the forest. And I'm like, wait, this is all, stuff we've done before, but okay, well, that just tells me how good it was before, that people keep simultaneously arriving at the same thing.
Well, let me ask you this, because I made somebody mad with this comment, and I want to see if you agree without telling you my answer. There was a comment or post made on Facebook about, like, we as a community should get together and submit ideas, and then the community can vet them, and whatever the good ones are, we can submit to John Palancar, and he can tell us if we're hot or cold, or if we're on the right track or wrong track. And I made this I guess I got to tell you what my opinion is. I made this comment that said,
dude, you don't have to tell me.
Well, I made this comment that said, when good ideas are put out, they tend to get vetted very quickly, right? Like Corey Gilbert did the Rebus out of the World Book Encyclopedias, and within 30 minutes we had a quote from John about it. And I said that it's not that good ideas aren't vetted, it's that there are no good ideas to vet. Like, I think, like, there just haven't been that many good ideas lately. It's been, like you were saying, a rehash of old stuff over and over and over again. What do you think? Has there been anything that's been said within the past year that's just, like, blown your mind?
That I haven't come up with? No.
Yeah.
No. Stuff that has blown my mind in the last year. No. Little things pop up all the time.
There's a lot of little interesting stuff.
Yeah, there definitely is. And people put disparate pieces together that in ways that, I've never seen that.
Yeah.
Okay. But also, more often people come up by themselves with things that other people have come up with before. And it's like, oh, that kind of says that's a good idea. But I know a bunch of those that are really popular that are obviously wrong.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And there was also the guy who said, let's have so not just the public vetting, but they wanted to get somebody to be Byron Preiss and actually vet the solutions.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, dude, there's nobody that can do that.
No.
There's not anybody out there that can do that. So, and somebody wrote, we talked about the Fairmont bricks not being original was the news.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know that.
That's okay. Yeah, it was news to me last month. So I just was like, oh my gosh, those are different bricks.
Yeah.
It totally changed that wall.
I mean, I think we live in this world of instant gratification where people think that they're going to watch Expedition Unknown, they're going to come in here, in a year they're going to solve everything. But the secret is not an instant gratification puzzle. I mean, I think, and I think older members realize that, and that's why they stick around, and new members kind of fall off because new members come in and start to realize that they're not going to, solve this tomorrow. They're going to have to work and take some time. And
I honestly feel really bad for the new people who come in and spend lots of money on this. I want to say don't do that.
I mean,
but-
I know three new members, or three members who not necessarily new anymore, who came in and bought like $10,000 GPRs. And now those things just sit in their garage, you know, each
Yeah.
one of them, it just sits in their garage. Yeah. Or people who I often
All right,
use this
go ahead.
example.
Here's a suggestion for those three people: get together and start a GPR rental company.
It's a lot. It's a big pain in the ass. I borrow a
Yeah, I know.
GPR from one of
Yeah.
them. That's the one we took to,
Yeah, you had the GPR at the Fairmont,
yeah.
which
But like what was I gonna say? I don't know. There's this one story that I tell often. There was this guy who was like messaging John Palancar constantly, and he had spent his kid's college fund and like went $20,000
Yeah.
in debt.
Yeah.
And was like lost. His family left him, and he was living in a van outside of a park in Milwaukee because that's where he thought the cask was. Like, don't be that guy, you know?
Don't be that guy, especially, but don't. All right. I just, people have paid money to get into the, digging in San Francisco multiple times.
Yeah.
Okay. That's okay. Okay.
But it's like I think once you become a member of the secret community as a whole, you either reach the point to where the secret is no longer about the puzzle and you just kind of hang out, or you drop off. There is no other option, right? It's why you never see any of the old members be like, what do you think the next cask is going to be that's found? Or when do you think the next cask is going to be found? Because we don't care.
Well, the next time I dig. Steffi says, are the GPRs helpful? Most of these parks along the water are made of landfill. And honestly, Steffi, even when people bury replica casks, I've never seen a GPR scan that would say, oh, there it is, ever.
There's currently a replica cask that Matt made buried at the Fountain of Youth, and it's buried in line with a cinder block, a clay brick, and a large piece of coquina about the size of the plexiglass box that has the replica cask. And anytime somebody comes up with a GPR, I take them to the general area and I say, find the cask. And no one has been able to do it. And like, I know exactly where it is. You find it. No one can find it. No one has even come close. So
The same thing,
No.
neither do metal detectors. I had a very, very, very good metal detector, and we made a replica cask with the amount of metal that was in the Cleveland cask. Which one had the metal in it?
Cleveland.
Cleveland, with that amount of metal, and I had to be this far from the cask to detect it.
Yeah.
That was just outside of the plexiglass box.
Well, John Michaels was able to do it with the Chicago cask, but he didn't know metal detectors, and he was like, you can detect it up to a 8 inches, I think is what it was, but he didn't know metal detectors, and he just put the plexiglass box on the ground and then ran the metal detector over it and then stopped at the distance when it stopped reading. So he was reading it over air, not through dirt.
Not the same thing.
Yeah, it's not the same thing.
Yeah.
So
But
I don't know. It's puzzle solving. That's all that's gonna solve this. Puzzle solving and construction crews that just happen to be in the right area.
let's see. If you found it, you would not have made the 20K back. I'm amazed at how people think they're going to get rich, and Josh Gates will call.
I don't think people think they're gonna get rich. I think people think it'll validate their intelligence. You know? Like we as adults, we don't have anything in our life that validates us, our lives, or intelligence, or like some. I think I do. I feel like I have things in my life that validate me, but a lot of adults don't. And I think that's who gets wrapped up in this more than anything else. People who are not necessarily looking to get rich, they're just looking for validation that they matter in the grand scheme of something. You know?
Yeah. And
Maybe that's just
honestly, you do that, you'd be able to say, yeah, well, I'm smarter than all those other people who tried for years and years and years and years and years.
yeah, but who cares?
Yeah.
Or you're lucky, you know? Like Jason Krupat found one, and nobody says he's smarter than the average member of the community, right? People make fun of him for finding one because
He found it in a little.
He found it the wrong way.
He found it in the little Tupperware box that the digging people gave to him.
Yeah. But the people who do this don't see the downside either. Like Brian and Andy get hounded by people constantly. Even people who are like, you're wrong. Like, you remember all the shit that Josh Cornell used to give Brian and Andy? Like calling them liars and they faked like it's, you know, it's nuts. Yeah. Like you think drama is crazy just in the open community? Be someone who found a cask.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway.
Well, that's a nice down note there. So.
Well, it's helpful to know that not everybody's crazy. Like there's 99% of the people in the community are great people, but there's that, 1 or 2%.
Wait. Now I got to know. Wait a second. Pop up my calculator. There's 17,000. Let's just round that to 18,000 times 99%. Where's my percent button? Oh, in a scientific calculator, there's no percent button. 18,000 times 99% is, oh my gosh, there's 200 crazies in her.
Oh God.
Yeah.
And some of those are super crazy. There's that chick that's on the one of the drama groups who hunted down Byron's kids and like was waiting for them to try to present them with some shit she found and demand the gem. She's the one. She said that Byron made this and Byron made the secret in connection with John Michaels, but John Michaels was like 3 when this book came out or whatever. And that she legitimately said that I am in a homosexual relationship with Josh Gates. Like, these are the kind of people, like, they're nuts.
Yep.
Clinically nuts, not insulting nuts. Clinically nuts.
Wait, question for us. I believe JJP, don't get me wrong, but could the Fairmont hotel clue just be part of it and not, or was not at the hotel where you think it was? And hi, Judy. So here was my reasoning about that. JJP knew where everybody was digging in Golden Gate Park and at Lincoln Park and at Coit Tower and at Fisherman's Wharf. He was aware of the places people were digging. And John Michael said, hey, somebody found the cask. And the answer and the response was, oh, he must have found the Fairmont clue. So none of those other places do you actually need to have the Fairmont clue. The one place in all of San Francisco, if you were to find a cask and have to have the Fairmont clue, is the Fairmont.
Yeah.
It's logic. You don't like the logic, don't use it.
I mean, I said when that episode came out, like, feel free to look other places. Because you could I could realistically see you being half a block away from the Fairmont. Because there's still a couple of lines, the last couple of lines we don't fully understand.
Mark Twain.
Right? Mark Twain. So maybe, go across the street somewhere.
That is the only one we can argue about is the Mark Twain line.
Well, yeah, but that could lead you to other,
It could. So, other people,
I just like to give people hope, Matt.
Yeah, I want to shoot it down completely. But the thing people don't realize is we didn't work on this for a week.
Yeah.
We didn't come up with this in a week. We didn't just search that spot.
That's true.
Okay. We were on this for frigging years. So
Dave said that he didn't hear me deny that I was in a homosexual relationship with Josh Gates, and you will not hear that because he is a sexy man. And he just dug up bodies in Petra. So there.
did he do that? Was
I
that
don't
him?
know. I didn't read the
Yeah,
article.
I saw the
just
picture of him digging. I saw the picture of him digging.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm
don't
like,
know.
wow, what's he doing? Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I should go back and read the article. I don't like Josh Gates as a person. He's a nice guy, but Josh Gates as a personality, I don't like the show, so I don't keep up with any.
I hate this show.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's just me. Sorry. Okay.
I don't. I guess I could watch it. I've seen like 4 episodes. It's just not my cup of tea. I like my factual history a little more factual and historical.
Yeah. My daughter majored in archaeology and works at big museum in San Francisco, and I'm not allowed to actually like shows like EU. So that would be frowned upon.
You're not an Oak Island fan?
Oh God, no. God, no. So
Anyway.
yeah, for more reasons than one, I am not. So
All right. Let me see if there's anything pressing on.
those square holes in the Fairmont parking lot are too perfect a match for the squares on the woman's sleeves. With her pointing at 3 and 4, it screams dig spot indicator.
Yeah.
I think we said that.
That's where we were digging, yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly where we were digging for that exact reason.
Yeah. We like the funny thing is we couldn't figure that shit out. Like that never crossed anybody's mind. And I went to Kim and Nadine and Chris, and I was like, look at this image and tell me what would be a dig spot indicator. And they were like, oh, just count whatever, just find a bunch of squares and count the, and I was like, God, I've looked at this image for years and I've never thought. So they came up with that.
Well, just the week before, 2 weeks before,
We're looking somewhere different. Yeah.
corner, I was doing squares at the top of the hill and verifying that they were still there with, maps. And so
Yeah.
they had to be somewhere. We knew that.
But that's why that's why we can safely say like we checked everywhere, because I think up until that clicked, that final brick thing clicked, we were trying to force so much stuff,
Oh yeah.
So
Up until we said turn the corner, that was a big momentous moment when we
Yeah.
said, is there any reason not to turn the corner? So
and I still think there's that parking garage. Like if it were going to be anywhere other than where we were digging, there's that parking garage that's across the street. Yeah, kitty corner from the Fairmont. That's now an apartment complex.
which was an Ace parking.
It would
We
have been
actually
there.
have that sign in a photo. So go figure.
Who knows?
Yep.
Anyway, I am going to go hang out with my wife.
You are.
Yeah, I have one of those now.
I mean, hasn't it been, a couple weeks now? She still puts up with you, huh?
Yeah, for the most part. Mainly because I have this room. So whenever I get on her nerves, she just sends me to this room.
Send you to here. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, actually, now that everybody has left the building, pretty much, I have to go slam a hole through a conduit box to run some cable, but I can't do that when people are in the building because it makes too much noise.
That sounds like fun.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, all the fiberglass installation in the wall, and it's a blast.
Love running new lines.
Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't have to go very far.
That far.
Okay, that's good.
One side of a, there's a conduit and a box, and then there's a stud with a port through it, and then there's my computer screen. So I gotta knock it through there, and
At least you don't have to snake anything.
no, that's good. I usually get people to do that for me.
Rob says that is your euphemism for sex. which, you know, is okay. It's fine.
That would be fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm at work, Rob. So
College kids.
frowned against. Don't even go there. That is so much trouble. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Sorry. That's
I'll
exactly
walk
where
around
my
here
mind
going,
went.
please, nobody think anything like that. Okay. Thank
It's
you.
like Destiny. So Destiny is like the head of the student council for the state now. She was the head of her student government. She was the
Oh,
president.
that's awesome.
Yeah. So now she works for the state. And every time she goes to school, she's got like, she had a conference the other day. And she's like, oh, I got to go to Ocala for this conference. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's what they call it now. It's a conference.
Conference. Yeah. All right.
All
Well,
right.
you have a great night. It was fun.
Yeah, we'll do it again soon.
Definitely. I'm always happy to talk about nothing important.
Yeah.
I'm good at that.
All right. Well, bye, everybody.
Later.
Later, Matt.